What's going on, everybody? My name is Anthony Galaxy, and today we will be covering my top 10 tips for the game World War III. But before we get into it, quickly, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who liked and commented on my last video. It's a huge help to the channel, and each one of you is so greatly appreciated. But enough of that, let's get into it. So, tip number one: in this game, you can access your backpack. Believe it or not, there is a way to quick change your attachments to your guns as well as your grenade. It's actually something that I didn't find out until recently. I just honestly didn't understand what the point of the backpack was. But yeah, if you press I, it'll open up your backpack, and that is totally going to change the way that you walk into each match, I guess. Well, the reason being is because you can swap it up in the middle. If you're playing on tactical ops, it is a little bit easier to kind of get a little bit of cover and swap in some different reticles, different attachments, such as the suppressor, which actually brings me into tip number two, which is an early suppressor. To unlock a suppressor on a gun as an attachment, it takes to about level 25, I believe, and you can actually access an earlier suppressor through the means of your backpack. So you can, well, like I said, equip that in your create a class, and yeah, pop into the game. You will have to attach it each game that you jump into. That is the one caveat of it. I don't know necessarily the huge benefit of getting the suppressor through unlocking it, via leveling your gun, but it is very versatile because that suppressor is essentially universal. But anyways, bringing us to tip number three: look up when healing. I cannot tell you how many times I see somebody drop a med pack and stare at it, because yeah, you do have to look at it to actually engage the healing process by holding F, but you can actually hold F, look up, and you can reload, you can ADS and shoot. You can totally still be effective. It's a lot better than just staring at the ground and getting popped because you were just staring at the med pack for no reason. Didn't know that for a while though, so don't feel bad if you are like me. Tip number four I have: when you're using a automatic weapon, I would actually recommend ADSing after you hip fire. I would get more into the rhythm of left click and then right click, opposed to right click and then left click. Reason being is because ADS takes a second, it almost feels like delay to ADS and then start firing, opposed to if you just start hip firing and then ADS, there is no break in your firing, and because of that, you can put out a few extra shots to win you those gunfights that are pretty close. But tip number five: when you're sniping, opposed to using an automatic weapon, you want to lead your shots. It's kind of fun to quick scope and just, pop off at the hip. But when you're taking those shots that are maybe about 50 meters and anything further, you're going to want to lead your shot just a hair. I can't tell if it's server tick or what, but it seems as though when I am dead on the opponent and I fire from a sniper from, like I said, anywhere from about 50 meters out, it seems to just not hit. But if you lead your shot, you will absolutely see more success. Definitely something that is a must when sniping in this game. Not much bullet drop, so you can kind of still aim for the head, but yeah, definitely lead your shots just a bit. Tip number six: XP applies to your offhand weapon even if you don't use it. Now, it's kind of subject to questioning here, because I've noticed while in tactical ops, my secondary weapon, which is like a sniper usually, well, it'll actually level up and I wouldn't have even pulled it out. Running around in TDM, I like to quick scope, but if it's not working for me, I pull out the old AR and I let it go. But honestly, in tactical ops, it seems to happen a bit more frequently than team deathmatch. So I would just go ahead and say that if you're looking to level up a weapon that is brand new, throw it on your secondary and run around with your tried and true, and you'll actually see some XP be applied to that secondary weapon. Which actually brings me into tip number seven, which is weapon XP is gained when you're playing the objective, specifically in tactical ops. Team deathmatch, the objective is to shoot and kill. But in tactical ops, you can actually gain weapon XP, gain those attachments, get that little extra XP to get those attachments, because quite honestly it's hard to get those attachments sometimes. You got to play a little bit, but if you're playing objectively while you're, you know, traditionally shooting to kill, well, you're gonna end up getting a lot more weapon XP for those early levels. You will definitely see a increase in the amount of levels that you get, and like I said, because that applies to both secondary and primary weapons, it's an easy way to get attachments. Tip number 8, when you are queuing for a game, it is weirdly labeled, but custom game, that is actually your filter mechanism to choose between team deathmatch, tactical ops, both, and any maps that are included. And this is a huge mislabeling, because there's nothing custom about the game. You are just filtering the playlist essentially. But like I said, something I didn't realize until maybe my second day playing. So if you're new to the game, this is definitely some useful information. For me, I like to jump into TDM just to kind of get ripping and get warmed up. So I'll tell you what, it is something that I wish I knew earlier. And then we got tip number 9, reduced sprint to fire time as a perk of an attachment should be prioritized. Reason being, for me, when you are in close quarter combat, most of the time recoil is going to be negligible. When you're taking those longer shots, you really shouldn't be relying on your attachment to lower your recoil necessarily. You should get used to dragging the mouse down as you are firing to keep that weapon stable and on point, especially like I said, when it's not too close quarter. Just something that totally is a need to know, I would say, to be able to be successful in this game. But I believe it's called the potato grip. It is the tried and true attachment for me. No matter what AR submachine gun I'm using, it is absolutely worth throwing it on your gun, because that reduced sprint to fire time will win you more gunfights than the attachments that lower your recoil primarily. It does also lower your recoil and kind of the kickback from the weapon, which is a plus, but the increased sprint to fire time is totally worth it. And tip number 10, fall damage is brutal in this game, so definitely look for the stairs. But when you are jumping off that ledge, I'm gonna be honest with you, it ticks pretty freaking hard when you hit the ground. Most of the time you'll fall from maybe 5 to 6 feet and you'll take 5 damage, but that 5 damage is honestly the difference between a sniper one-shotting you from the body with lower armor, which is usually how I play, because I use 2 primaries. I got to compensate by using some of the weaker armor, but that 5 health is totally a difference maker if you don't have it and you're going up against one guy who has either the same kind of AR as you and you guys are shooting each other at the same rate, and because health regeneration is super slow in this game, it is definitely a necessity to keep your health at 100 at all times, which is why I pack a med pack every single class, every single game, and if I can, I use the frickin' stairs. And a bonus tip number 11, if you use a shotgun, stop, get some help. But anyways, guys, that has been the top 10 tips for World War III. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It's so greatly appreciated. I just can't overstate how much I am just in awe when I see people actually watch my videos. Like I said, this is a new style of content for me. I mentioned that in the last video I uploaded, and yeah, I'm looking forward to, well, honestly, Modern Warfare 2 is coming out midnight tonight, and I'm looking forward to getting into that game and doing a bit more, well, I guess it's not really review style, but, you know, voiceovers instead of like my previous gameplays, which are highlights and stream clips or full streams. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.